Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Bobby Moore stand. I'm Gary, that's Chris, and I don't know what's happened, but my printer started doing something in the background. I think it's haunted. Um, God, how are you, Chris?
I'm really good, mate. I'm really good. Yeah, I'm glad
Yeah,
it's the weekend. Yeah, feeling quite fresh, amazingly. Yeah, I'm all
yeah.
right. I'm all right. How about you? How's your week? I haven't really explained too
Oh,
much
of
this
course,
week. How's your
you
week been?
yeah, it's been good. You were out on the lash last night, weren't you? Very
Well,
unusual.
not like usual, but yeah, no, I was out very late last night, so
Yeah,
it's
you.
lovely. Really, really good night. Despite getting absolutely drenched, it was lovely. Yeah, really good.
Oh, good, good. Well, you won't shrink, will you? So, yeah, my week's been all right. Actually, it's been all right. It's been a little bit, I mean, my wife had to have a little op earlier in the week, so that was why I had the week off. But other than that, I ain't been doing very much. But I have got a few bits and pieces done. I've got a new camera angle in the studio, and I've got a new screen in the studio, and I've rearranged the lights and stuff like that. And a little surprise coming up after.
And
Um,
hold up, Gal. You've got a
what?
few little things in the background there, mate, haven't you, on your shelves? I
Oh,
just
sorry, Chris. I,
noticed that.
I, I think I know what you're referring to. Hang on a minute.
I can see it. You've got Loverboy
I
at the
think
back
I
there,
think
haven't
we'll
you?
I think we'll come to this. Look. There you go, Chris. Lewis Guillermo. Lewis Guillermo,
Have I just
Chris.
ruined that for you? I've only just
You've
noticed
ruined
that.
the big
Sorry.
intro. I'm going to have to intro it
Yeah.
again after, but yeah, that is Lewis Guillermo. I've adopted him as my own. All right, so I've cast Mavropanos aside. He's dead to me now. I've given up. I've given up on Mavropanos. I generally wish him well and hope he can pull it together, but I just don't know how. So this is Saturday night. We ain't got a game till next week, so we've got a few sort of activities that once we've passed the news that hopefully will keep us and you in the chat all busy. Should be quite interesting. We're going to talk about, first of all, we're going to look at the last 14 games of the season, and I'm going to put the overlay on and let us all work on predictions where we think those games are going to finish, just to see where we think we're going to finish in the league overall. Because that'll be quite interesting to see. Before this, I was going ninth or 10th. In fact, I'd say ninth. I'd say ninth is where I was going. And then finally, there's quite a big exercise. I have a spreadsheet, as you would expect, to go through and review the squad from the end of the season. This coming the end of the season next summer, to find out who's likely not going to be here the following season, how many we've got left, and what positions we're going to need to fill. So just a quick exercise, and I think it's a good time to do it. Let's quickly do the news. Number one, you've completely ruined it now, but whatever. Lewis Guillermo. Oh no, didn't work. Didn't work. Come on, there you go. There he is, Lewis Guillermo, the new player in the spotlight, sponsored by me personally, because I think it was really nice to see what he did the other night. Now you could look at his little performance, his little cameo, and he came on with, I don't know how many minutes to go, but it wasn't many, about 10 minutes, wasn't it? And I think he first thing he did was run at a player, lose the ball, then go and get the ball back and get a cross in. He did a couple of other things, but then he did this thing in front of us where he went past the defender, tried to get a cross in, it bounced back off the defender, hit him, and went out for a goal kick. And so you're sort of thinking, oh God, nothing's ever going to go right for him. But from that point, I think it's fair to say he really got annoyed. He threw the ball. He threw the ball down, and I think he could have let that temper, that fiery temper of his, he could have let it affect him in the wrong way. But he didn't. He channeled that aggression, Chris, channeled that aggression and tried to take the game to Chelsea. And he was demanding the ball for the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game. And so, for that reason, I've got a newfound hope for Guillermo. It's going to break my heart if they suddenly find someone in Saudi to take him. But I'm hoping that Graham Potter would have seen enough, to be honest, would have seen enough in those couple of minutes, that little cameo, to show that if you get him, on the shoulder of the last defender with, he can beat one player, he can't beat three. If you give him the ball on the halfway line or before the halfway line, it's a bit of an impossible task for someone that's not used to the league, isn't it? What do you think, Chris? Have I convinced you?
Mate, I think when I did the podcast at the Chelsea game, I think you
Yeah,
convinced me and Danny.
yeah,
Well, actually, at the time I was laughing. I still am laughing. No, you've not convinced me. What am I talking about? Of course, you ain't convinced me. But I love the optimism. I love the sort of renewed optimism and how you've now kind of pivoted from away from the Greek god Mavropanos to
yeah,
Guillermo, right? And actually, look, I really want him to come good. I do. I think he's got talent, but he just hasn't had the opportunity to really express it and show it so far. So I really hope that, for the rest of the games this season, that irrespective of all these teams he's been linked with in Brazil, like Botafogo, I think is the primarily the main team.
Yeah,
He stays here and he can prove that he is perhaps, as you called it, and as Danny's put down there when we were sitting on the train the other day, the next Pele.
yeah.
Yeah, let's hope he can. Well, not to that level, or that'd be good if he could. But no, I'd like to see him get a bit more of a run now, and I don't see any reasons why he won't. I don't.
No, I agree with that.
Somerville out now for a spell, so there's every chance he will get more game time.
Yeah, absolutely. He's and it's going to be important because it's not just Somerville, is it? I mean, we've got an option when we've got a striker. It's fine. Bowen can go on the wing. But when we haven't got a striker, like at the moment, Bowen is that striker, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I think he's great in both positions. I've got to be honest. But I think we do need wingers. People like he's a bit more robust than Somerville, I think, physically. He's faster than anybody in the bloody team, faster than probably most people in the league, to be honest. So if he can, if he can do more than just have pace, not be Robbie Slater, for instance. Do you remember Robbie Slater?
Of course I do, mate. Yeah, he came to West Ham in a part exchange with Matty Holmes, didn't he, back in 95?
Yeah. He could only do
that.
straight lines. He was running on tracks. He couldn't turn corners.
Yeah, I remember him.
Well, that's no good. I expect more from Guilherme. But Guilherme's supposed to have very, very close control. And this is going to be a regular slot where I promote Guilherme, right? A lot of people say, why did we spend that money on him? Because that's big money for a kid. Because he only played a few minutes from the bench for Palmeiras. Well, it's not quite true. He played quite a lot of minutes from the bench for Palmeiras. And it actually come on over the top of some quite significant senior players who were sitting on the bench. And over there, it ain't to run the clock down, England style. It is to try to win a game and try to score goals. So it's not that bad after all. And when we bought him, don't forget, he was one of the top 20 players in the world for his age group. There was a list that was published, I think, by FIFA, and he was in that top 20. I don't know what number he was. I'd like to get hold of that list. But anyway, look, that's enough about Guilherme today. The new Pele is may that light shine brightly for a long, long time. Right?
Yeah. No, I've got some good feelings about him, mate. I think he'll come good. He just needs time, but let's take the expectation off him this season. I think hopefully next season, providing of course he stays with us, I just want him to get enough opportunities to show, that he's going to be hopefully a permanent fixture next year, and he can frighten defenses with that pace, because he does. He has a lot of pace. You can see that in him. My only kind of slight worry with him a little bit is that sometimes I feel, it's strange. Like, when he was playing against Chelsea, he couldn't beat the fullback, right? What was it? Cucurella. He found it difficult to get past him. I know he'd done him one time. Then he battled a bit. Like you said, he showed that aggression, got the ball back. And it was a bit of a, in my opinion, what I said, I thought it was a bit more of a hit and a hope cross. It was, because he just whacked it.
We're talking after that. We're talking after that, because he did that when he first came on, where he lost the ball and went and won.
It was like 2 moments, weren't there? There was 2 moments, but it's almost like, I'm not saying he can't, but when I have seen him on a couple of occasions, I've not seen him beat his man, But there's no doubt in my mind that he's got the ability to do that. Even if he plays it in behind and goes past him because he's fast enough, why don't he try and do that? So, like, again, I'm not going to judge him based on these little mini cameos. It's impossible. He needs to run in the team before we can say, yeah, you know what, he's going to be a good player for us. So, I just hope it happens, mate. That's it.
I'm just going all out because you've got to support these boys, Chris. I'm going out. I support. I'm member number 1 of the Luis Guilherme Club.
You've coined it, mate. Then you've coined it already. This is yours. You own it. He is the next. He's the next Pele. You said it, mate. Not me.
Yes.
You.
Yes.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right on this one. Actually, I do.
Well, so do I. I mean, bloody, I'd do it for every player if I thought it worked. But anyway,
sometimes I hope you're not right. Sometimes I hope you're not right.
It's largely not down to me, and it's mainly down to him. So let's see what he does.
If he's watching these videos, he might be like, "Fuck me, that guy did half laughing, didn't he? He thinks I'm the new Pele." You never know, mate.
I know. Set a high bar for him. Set a high bar. But yeah, I mean, the thing that he did the other night, just one more thing, is that cross that went on to Mavropanos' head. Mavropanos just wasted that, didn't he? He did a back pass header, didn't he?
Mavropanos is a waste of space, mate. He wasted that pass, wasted that cross. He's a waste of space, mate. I'm so done with him. I've been done with him for months now. And I know, we could talk about his physical attributes and how, in theory, he should be the ultimate defender. He's big, he's strong, he's got a decent amount of turn of pace. But apart from that, he can't defend, Gal. So, or he can for 89 minutes, and he'll make one mistake, and that one mistake is one too many every single game. So he's got to go, and I'm pretty sure that when Todibo comes back, he'll dislodge him very, very quickly. You know.
Hold that thought anyway, because we've decided who wants to go together with the lovely people in the chat. Good evening, everybody in the chat, by the way, and Claire, the mean mod, Cupcake, and Matt as well. I think they're both in there tonight. No, yeah, they are. Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to the next story. So there was Emerson is rumoured to be leaving. Again, that's something we can factor into the exercise that we're not rumoured to be leaving, wanting to leave, but West Ham rumoured to be wanting to replace him. I could see a reason why, because I think defensively I've never really been impressed with Emerson. I think he's been quite good lately, but I think you can do better as a wing back especially than Emerson, and I think he did switch off for that goal the other night. So you can quite often find fault with Emerson. He's a highly decorated player, and he's been involved in some really good games for us, and I do like him, but I think you can do better in that position. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think going forward, I think he's very effective, although he's not the fastest, but he seems to link up very well with Paqueta. I think those two have got that little thing going, good relationship with chemistry. But you're right. I think defensively, yeah, he can be a bit of a worry sometimes. And I suppose that if we do let him go, hypothetical, of course, that we've got Ollie Scholes coming in, and for me, I want to see him become a permanent fixture. I do. And again, I've kind of written off this season to an extent, because what I'd really like to see this season, Gal, is for us to be blooding these youngsters more, just so they get more game time. Because the reality is, right, I know the thumbnail says about Europe and everything else, right? Let's cast that to one side for a second. I want this to be a season now, or shall I say a second half of the season, where we can start blooding these youngsters, start integrating some of these players into the team, like Guilherme, like Scholes, maybe like Orford, all of these youngsters, and seeing if they've got what it takes so we can really build upon that next season. That would be the ideal scenario for me. I don't really care too much about league positions now. Of course, I want us to get in Europe, but I don't. I put it out there. I don't think that's going to happen in a million years. I just can't see it happening, Gal. You might totally prove me wrong when we go through our predictions soon, and I'm happy to be proven wrong on that. But for me, I just want to see these youngsters given a chance. So I think with regards to your comment about Emerson, well, yeah, Scholes can come in for him for sure. But then who would you have as backup? Surely that can't be Cresswell for another season. So you'd need to get another experienced left back in there if Emerson goes, because there is no one else.
Yeah.
Unless you play AWB playing at left back but that's not really where you want him, is it?
It's not, but he's a good emergency one, isn't he?
Yeah. Of course he is. Yeah. No, I mean, he can deputise there, and he's versatile. He's shown that this season. So yeah, but you'd want another left back, wouldn't you, rather than a right back being our second left. I don't want that. Yeah.
By the way, I don't like the term Potter ball, Moyes ball, blah 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 ball. I think it's got negative connotations. I think it's only used negatively. So I'm going to christen Potter ball pottery. It's pretty bloody obvious, but pottery. It's a kind of artistry, mystery. How does he do it? It's a kind of sorcery, that sort of thing. Pottery. Yeah. Is that getting your imagination?
Are you asking me or the chat, mate? I don't know.
I'll ask
you. I don't know.
Are you buying that pottery?
I don't give a shit what we call it, mate. As long as it's effective, I call it potter ball, shite ball, wank ball. I don't give a else. I don't care. As long as we win games. I don't think it does, man. I think when you say Moyes ball, it does. I think Moyes ball it does, because we all know everyone's like, Moyes ball, low block, blah. We don't. But potter ball. You look at people saying, Ange ball. Ange ball's the opposite of Moyes ball, because he's out on the attack, going gung ho. So I think potter ball. I just think it's a style of football, and I don't necessarily think it necessarily has negative connotations. Unless we start playing really bad, then it will. So it's really based upon how we perform, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. There is I watched something today which was really, really good. Ironcast on the West Ham official channel, where he's interviewed with Ginge and forget the name of the host for about an hour. Yeah, and he speaks about all of his background, how he ended up in football coaching. He started off in university, he got a master's in leadership, working with all sorts of people from different industries, and he does understand the job. And the one thing that jumped out, well, several things jumped out, but one thing he said was, he said it's really funny when fans or people say about a player, stop making mistakes. He said football's all about mistakes. You show me a goal, I'll show you a mistake. You know, that is what happens. You try to, you hope you're not the player who makes the mistake that costs you the game and stuff like that. But that is basically what it's all about, right? If you can put in a good move, and it might be a good move because the other team haven't been disciplined enough to do what they were told, right? So it look even better than it is. So, but nonetheless, I think there's a common theme coming through there about his style of management. It is inclusive. It is to bring. Doesn't matter how old you are, Sufal and Cresswell. Doesn't matter how young you are, Alford and Skulls. If you're good enough, you're old enough, and that's exactly what Evan Ferguson said when he joined as well. He's clearly got respect for him and respect for Bruno, the coach. Be blinding if that one comes off. Now, Freddie Sears, important to Potter is the academy. Very, very important, especially if they carry on producing kids of the standard they've produced recently. I think we beat Arsenal 2-1 yesterday. I think was that the under-18s or the under-18s, I think. But so we're still going strong, and it's a who's who of former West Ham players and academy graduates actually running that thing largely. Freddie Sears has come back after his football career and joined Zavin Hines, Mark Robson, Kenny Brown, Steve Potts, Kevin Keane, Mark Noble, and don't forget Carlton Cole as well, who works with Mark Noble on the loan placements. I mean, it must be absolutely buzzing behind the scenes because they've now got a route through to the first team, which is what they've been trying to sell to people. I also heard that Anton Ferdinand as well. He's always I don't know if he's actually involved behind the scenes, I'm not sure, but I did hear from someone that what he tends to do is when he speaks to young players, he says, go to West Ham, you'll get a game. And it's like, and now he can say it and mean it, you know what I mean? So it's really, really good, because if you think back of when Anton Ferdinand and Mark Noble broke through, it was largely in the Championship year after we got relegated. Whether they would have broken through in the Premier League, I don't know. I'd like to think they would have, but we will never know the answers to that. Gary beat Arsenal 1-0 in the under-21, says Gaza. Thank you for putting me right. I'm generally wrong about these things, but I had a guess. I know it was one of two. It was under-18s or under-21s. Went for the wrong one, typically.
Freddie Sears, Gal, when I think back to Freddie Sears, it's such a shame that he never made it at West Ham, because I remember when he broke through and then he scored with that diving header, didn't he, against Blackburn, and he went up to fans doing the irons and that. And I remember they panned it up when I watched the highlights back. They panned it up to Trevor Brookie, and it was like, do you know what? It's the whole West Ham thing, young kid coming through, and suddenly you get that kind of feel, and that it's almost like a sense of nostalgia when like Tony Cottee broke through, 17, 18-year-old kid, scoring on his debut. I think TC scored against Spurs, didn't he, on his debut? And you just think, you really, really want. I mean, that was the player that I really wanted to come through. There's nothing better than a good young striker coming through at West Ham. We don't get too many of them. We've had Tony Cottee, Jermaine Defoe. Is there anyone else that's come through and broken in and had been sustainably good? No one. And when he come through, I was like, do you know what? Maybe we've got a play on our hands here. And I remember when he played some following games against Everton, I think he hit the inside of the post. I was like, this guy's looking good. And he had pace. Freddie Sears had a lot of pace as well. Such a shame how his career never really kind of took off, because he went to Palace, they played him on the left, and they played him through the middle, and then his career went down. He went to Colchester, and it was a real shame. So I just kind of hope that bringing someone like that in to the U team, I think is really good, because the kind of message he will get across those players is, you haven't really made it till you made it, right? Because I got into the first team, but I didn't quite make it at that level. And I think that's a really good thing, actually, for these kids to understand. It's not as if to say, right, like Carlton Cole could be there. He didn't come from the youth team. Zavon Hines, he did, but he wasn't successful at West Ham. He went to Burnley, didn't he, right? If serves me right. But you've got players there that none of them quite made it. And I think that's not a bad thing for the players to understand and think, oh, you know what? It's not a cast iron guarantee, because even these guys who we're looking up to, they just got to the cusps of the first team, but they never really had a sustained career, in the Premier League. It's a good thing, mate. Rather than just getting somebody who's been there, done it, got the T-shirt. Of course, that's good as well in some respects, but conversely, I think it's good when you've got the other types of individuals like those ones coming in and helping the youngsters as well.
Oh, I totally agree. I love seeing it that a player can just go. They're not quite good enough for the first team, but they've come through as a kid. They go off and play their football career in the lower leagues, and they come back and they join the family again. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. It's beautiful. You know, there was a time when West Ham, if you go back to, this is before my time, but you go back to the Ron Greenwood team that did so well in the 64 and 65, well, and 66 seasons actually. That team was full of people who were going to go on to be managers. And they used to sit there and, you know, in the calf, didn't they? Was it Casataras or whatever? You sit there and after training, smoking fags probably, on the way to the Black Lion to have a couple of pints. But they used to do tactical discussions. People like Malcolm Allison, who was a very well-known manager, wasn't he, in this country? But so many others as well, if you look through that team. And I kind of like to think that this is history repeating itself, and we're going to breed, you know, we sort of train them up as players, we send them out as players, they come back, get trained up as coaches and managers, they go out and they're coaches and managers. You know, I think it's a great thing. I was always quite proud of West Ham for that when I was growing up, because I knew all about that. It was around about, those managers were quite big managers at the time, you know. At the time when I started watching West Ham, so it was quite a nice thing to have. And Ron Greenwood was the England manager, obviously.
Well, it reinforces the whole kind of family feel of the club,
Yeah.
you know, because we say we're a family club, and I genuinely think we are, irrespective of all of the corporate nonsense that goes on, and it's all about money and big business and everything else. But I do think we genuinely are a family club, and that kind of, you know, really reinforces that, in my opinion. So no, I like that as well. I must admit, it does give a good feel for me. So I'm just hoping that they actually do end up being good coaches, some of these guys. I mean, I don't know how good Zaban Heinz as a coach is going to be. I don't know how good Freddie Sears is going to be. But hopefully they would have learned from some of the best people going through the youth teams themselves. You know, the likes of Tony Carr and all those lads. So I don't see any reasons why it won't work out. I just have to wait and see. But, you know, I'm pleased to see him.
I think that, that's an interesting one. Dave, let's have a look. Sonny Perkins was playing for Leyton Orient, my second team.
I was watching
another
that
one. Looks like he's found his level after a promising youth shout at West Ham. Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully he'll circle back afterwards as well. You know, he's only around the corner. He could probably come to coaching after he's done his.
He wanted to go, mate. He wanted to go
with the team at Orient.
Yeah, you remember the situation with Perkins. He wanted to go, mate, and then he went to Leeds. He flopped the Leeds, and then he went. He's just suddenly kind of petered down a bit. So
you know,
and his agents are pushing for a move as well. I think
I can't blame a kid, right? I can't blame a kid. I mean, I've got, you know, I've got some older kids, but I've got one boy, my youngest boy, who's 22, 23, nearly 23, and I've got, you know, daughter who's 18, right? And when you look at those, you know, I think back to when Adam was 18 and when he was 19, 20, 21. Are they sort of big enough to be making those sort of life, career decisions? Probably not. And especially if someone shoves a load of money their way as well. You know, your judgment's going to be a little bit flawed. So I'm not going to hold that against a kid, right? I'm not going to hold that against a kid. I can't. Dave Sexton is another one.
I kind of do actually, Gal, because I think it's about how grounded they are as young human beings. Okay, first of all, it's about the family that they've got around them to make sure they keep their feet firmly on the floor, rather than thinking they're bigger or better and they should be basically moving for money, whatever it's going to be. You're talking about a kid that hadn't proved himself, Gal. You know, he was just getting into the team and he hadn't proved himself. So, like, if it's a situation where he's been in the youth team, like someone like, let's say, Connor Coventry, prime example, right? He could never get into the team. He was going out on loan. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't pushing for a move as soon as he got anywhere near to the first team, was he? He wasn't doing that. Sonny Perkins was. He wanted to go.
Oh, I know that, but you don't know the situation. You do not know the situation, right? This could be, you don't know whether he's been brought up with good understanding parents, or these sort of pushy parents who want to, you know, get him to be as big as he can, as quick as he can. You know, the sort of parents that live their life through their kids. And sometimes you ain't going to be strong enough as a kid to stand up to stuff like that. I more blame the parents than I blame the kid, actually, because
maybe
he was a kid. He was a kid.
But they get bad influences, though, Gal, whether the agents are trying to push and peddle moves for these players. I mean, the same sort of thing with Jeremy Ngakia when he went to Watford. You know, he was getting into our team ahead of Ben Johnson playing at right back. Don't forget about him. He slipped down, went to Watford. He's now playing the Championship, and I don't think he plays altogether that regularly either. I think he plays some games, but, you know, again, another player that didn't necessarily hit the heights what he probably would have expected to. Probably same as Sonny Perkins, probably believed the hype, thought he was going to be better than what he is. I don't wish badly on these, but I want them to all do well. But I do think sometimes West Ham, and maybe it's the fact of being under David Moyes, I don't know, you know, that they never thought they'd get the breakthrough. So you could use that as an excuse as well, I suppose.
Possibly. But, you know, I just blame it on bad advice, because when you're in a situation and you've been brought up from a young age and you've got all the coaches around you that you know and all the people around you once that's removed, then you're not going to carry on developing at the same pace anyway, are you? Really? Because you're going to be expected to perform as a senior professional once you go and join another club, aren't you?
Yeah, there would be that expectation on them. But I just feel, why would you not at least try and prove yourself, prove your value before you can justify that you are almost like eligible and warrant a move to another Premier League club, which Leeds United were at that particular time with the case of, Sonny Perkins. So I don't really understand that. I kind of feel like, earn your stripes first, then maybe you can start trying to push for a move.
Yes.
So anyway, regardless.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, let's go on and do exercise 1. By the way, if you're watching this show and you haven't subscribed to the channel, the Bobby Moore Stand, please could you subscribe? That would be really nice. Hit the bell notification icon as well, and also give the video a like. That'd be really nice. We've got 2 little exercises coming up now. Number 1, very exciting. So let me pull this up, and this is about predicting what we think is going to happen with the fixtures for the remainder of this season. Now I'm going to put the overlay on, I think. Am I? Or aren't I? Yeah, I think I am. Will it work? No, it won't.
No, I think I can see it.
No, you should be able to see us. We'll just put the overlay at the side, right? So what I'd do instead of that, because I should have just shared it out, really, rather than right, I'm going to keep track. I'm going to keep a score. We're going to run through these fixtures, one every 30 seconds or something. So when I read out a fixture, I want you to tell me your prediction in the chat. Going to keep an eye on Chris, and then we're going to we're going to agree on whether it's, don't care about score, just care about win, draw, loss. Right?
Oh yeah, all of my wins will be 3-1 anyway, mate. So there's no point doing me, is there? Yeah,
absolutely. Right. So we're going to start off. Obviously, next week. Next game is at home to Brentford. What do you think?
I think we'll win that game.
I'm going home win.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. And then the next one is away to Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm going for a loss on that one, unfortunately.
You're going for a loss?
Yeah.
How could you go for a loss on that?
I'm just trying to stay humble, Gal. Just trying to stay humble right now, mate.
Let's go see what people in the chat are saying.
What's this? A win for Brentford, or are we on Arsenal now? Or Brentford?
No,
what are we talking about?
That's got to be a win for.
I'll say there's a lot of people feeling positive for Brentford for Arsenal. So.
Right, yeah. The first lose has come up is here we go. Loss. Oh, we got Steve in there. Steve Lang going in there with a win. I can't see that. But anyway, you never know. I don't know. I think we might get.
You need to make your mind up. You put down win and then you put down lose. What's that all about? We talking about Brentford then Arsenal here.
Yeah, Brentford then Arsenal.
So let's just go Brentford, right? So I think the overall consensus is that we're going to beat Brentford at home. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yes. 3 points. 3 points, Chris. So next one, Arsenal. I think we're going. It's largely losses that people are going for, but there's a few draws, and I wouldn't mind going for a draw as well. What are you going for?
No, I'm going for a loss, Gal. I'm trying to be realistic here. Yeah, I'm going for a loss.
Oh, so am I. I think it's you think a draw is completely unrealistic?
I don't think it's unrealistic, but it's probably more realistic than unrealistic.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah, whatever. Either way, I don't think we're going to win.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's design. Hold on. Next one is. Where are we? Brentford, Arsenal, Leicester at home. Leicester at home. I mean, I'm going home win all day long on that. How about you?
Yeah, that's a dub, Gal. That's a dub, a W. That's a win for me. Can't see us getting anything less on that one. Can't. Right, so pretty sure poor team, to be fair. They've just got worse, haven't they?
We're going win, loss, win. I think everybody else is going to go. I mean, there's definitely more people went for an Arsenal loss than a draw there. There's a few optimistic people like me, but there you go. Somerville won't be back for these games. Yeah, that's right, Jordan. He won't be, but I think we'll be fine even without Somerville against Leicester. To be honest, it's at home, right?
Particularly now we've got the new Pele, so we'll be all right.
Yeah. He's just about. He's right in the mood. New Pele, right in the mood.
You've turned his light off.
You've
turned the light off, the spotlight.
Yeah,
off.
It's distracting me. It's put me off my stroke. Okay, next game is at home to Newcastle.
Oh, that's
This is
a tough one.
I'm going to go draw on that one myself. See
I'm
what
going to go
people are saying.
loss. I'm going to go loss against Newcastle.
You get loss.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
their form was brilliant before we played them last time, and we did well. No, their form was a bit crap, wasn't it? And they played us. Was that right? What happened? They were on a bit of a bad run. They played us. We played well against them, and after that, they just caught fire, didn't they?
I think there's also the combination of them also playing in Europe at that particular time, and a lot of people were saying, well, the reason why we were so good is because they were so crap, which I think was a bit unfair, in my opinion. But yeah, I think there was that. There was like, you know, the kind of 2-3 games a week sort of scenario that Newcastle were going through. But regardless, mate, I'm going a loss against Newcastle. I watched them again the other night, and I think they're a really good team, mate. Honestly, they are a very, very good team. Anthony Gordon is sort of exceeding any expectations I had on him. I didn't think he was that good, but he is very, very good.
Claire Balding.
Yeah, Claire Balding. Yeah. I think we're going to lose that one, mate. I don't want, obviously, I hope not, but I think we're going to lose it.
Well, I think there's a lot of draws coming up here. There's a few losses, like you, miserable people like you, but I'm going to mark that down as a draw. Everton away.
Oh,
it's
God.
Graham Potter taking Pottery to Moiseball. What's going to happen?
They lost today, didn't they, Everton? Well, at least they were losing when I last looked at the result.
They lost, yes.
Was it? Did it finish 2-1?
2-0.
Was it 2-0? Okay.
Must have been 2. Yeah. Right.
Well, look, maybe like they've had their manager bounce now with him in charge, and now it's going to go like a bit Pete Tong for him for the rest of the season. So, I reckon. Gosh, man, we got to go out there and win that one. I mean, honestly, that is the one game that I really want us to win, because I don't know how I'm going to take it if we lose against Everton and Moyes, because he's going to have some fucking, like, you know, smile on his face. Like, I just can't bear that.
I can't see anything but a win at that game, just because he's really got the number of David Moyes. You know how many times he's turned him over before, right?
It's true.
Where we'd be losing the game at half time, he makes a little tweak at half time in the opposition dugout, and we get slaughtered. It's happened more than once.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, mate. I'm going to go for a win. I'm going to go for a win because I want it so badly in that game. I think we can beat them, of course I do, but I do think Everton. He's been getting a tune out of them recently, hasn't he? You know.
Well, yeah, but it's a new manager bounce, isn't it? I mean, new manager bounce. Yeah, you could say ours was a new manager bounce.
Well, you could call it an old manager bounce of him, you know.
It's not. Yeah, you could. It's not much of a new manager bounce because we've had half a bloody squad to do new manager bounce with. There you go.
Yeah.
John, you're absolutely right. We do have to beat Everton. Yes, we do. Yes,
no question. No question.
We beat the Everton Dog of War, Moiseball, Pottery, and Potter is going to take Pottery to. I'm going to fucking hell. I'm going to carry on working on that.
You're really coining that phrase, that word, and
I've got to make it fit into a sentence, right? Souček was good. Oh, that'd be beautiful if he did that. Imagine Souček leaping like a salmon and scoring the winner to break David Moyes' heart. Then he can apologise him on the way off the pitch. Right. Okay. So we've got that down. Let's have a look at the next one. Next one is Wolves away.
Oh, I mean, Wolves away is always a bit of a tough one for us, isn't it? You know.
I think, yeah, it is, but I think that's winnable. Wolves away, don't you?
Yeah, definitely winnable, mate. Yeah, it is. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna go for a win on that one as well. You know, 2 wins on the spin against Everton Wolves. I think we can win that game. Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll be the first time we would have won two on the trot, right? So that's bloody good. Yeah. How about people in the chat? What are you saying? What are you saying about? What do you think about?
By the way, whose predictions are we going with here when you're doing this tally up? Are we going by yours?
I'm basically reading what's going up on the screen to see if what we agree is loosely in line with what the people are saying. It kind of is. Yeah. There's a few draws popping up for Wolves, quite a few wins. We've both gone win, so that's a win, right?
Yeah, all right. I think
there's nothing official here. It's just, you know, I'm just doing my best.
No, this is the league table. This is exactly how it's going to end up. Yeah.
So, Bournemouth at home, tough one.
Yeah, that is tough. That is a tough game, actually. I don't think we're going to win that one. I want to go for a draw.
People in chat, what do you think? I think we're going to win it. I think we're going to have three in a row. Because
we're going to make Champions League of your predictions, mate, aren't we?
Well, I think we're going to. These are winnable games. These are winnable games. I mean, I know Bournemouth are good, but I think by then we'll have a lot of players back. I'm going for a win. We'll be flying by that point. Three wins on the spin. Europe in our sights. We're going to come strong late in the season. That's what's going to happen. So, got the people in the chat agree with me. Draw Yates is gone with. There's a lot of draws.
Yeah.
I'm feeling insecure now. Bournemouth win. Claire says, "Oh God, loss. Oh no."
I think there's more draws. I think there's more draws, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go over draw. I'm going to have to go over draw. I'm going to have to... Oh, you're very disappointing, you lot. Very disappointing indeed. Right, 1 minute. I should have had this as a shareable option, to be honest, but I didn't. Liverpool away. I mean, we know...
Oh, Liverpool away. Yeah, no. That's a guaranteed 5-1 loss, isn't it, mate?
You're going to that, right?
Yeah, I can't do it again. It's like, mate, honestly, it's like self-inflicting pain on myself, isn't it, really? Keep doing this. Every time I go up there, we get battered.
But it's like tradition for you now to go up and see us get battered, isn't it? You know?
I might go. I don't know. I might go. We're not going to lose 5-1 to them anymore, though, mate. Not under Potter, we won't. There's no way we'd lose 5-1.
No, we won't. I mean, we just kept conceding up there. We kept conceding up there, didn't we? That was a disappointing thing. You know, I can put Guillermo's spotlight back on now. Right, I think everyone's going for a loss generally on that
16 goals we conceded in the last 3 games.
Absolutely what it should be, right? So let's have a look at the next one. The next game is Southampton at home. Let's do Southampton at home, Brighton away. I think Southampton at home is got to be a win, right?
Yes, of course.
No one's going to disagree with that. Brighton away is a tough one. So let us know what you think about Brighton away, people.
That's got to be a big L for me. I can't. We just all thought Brighton. I know Brighton will probably want to go back there.
Well, I've only been there once. I got 100%. No, I haven't. I went to the old Golston ground as well years ago. But in the new ground, I got 100% win rate. So, you know.
Well, I hope that will work out for you. But
draw. Got to go. These people are all saying win. They're all saying win.
Are they saying win against Brighton? Yeah. Everyone's saying win against Brighton.
Brighton draw. But the thing is, Brighton are a bit rubbish at the moment. I lost 7-0.
I know.
To Nottingham Forest last week, away to Nottingham Forest. I think we can at least get a draw there, can't we?
What's everyone saying? I'm lost here. I don't know if I'm saying win for Southampton because we kind of.
Well, no, everyone thinks win. Everyone thinks win for Southampton. All right. This is all about Brighton now. It's all about Brighton. I think I'm seeing a lot of draws. I'm not going to go win at Brighton. I'd go draw. Obsidian is a wise head.
What's he saying?
He's going.
Okay, yeah, they are. But you know, any team can beat any team on its day, and I think when you look back on history, we're not great against Brighton away. So I'm going to say a loss, not because I don't think we're better than them, because I know we are, but I don't know.
Yeah, but I think this. How about this? Potter revenge. Yeah, the thing is, Potter's walked out on them. He's got no revenge to take, has he?
No, he hasn't. They've got revenge to take out on him, if anything.
And Ferguson can't play, so the bottom will fall out of our attacking game because he'll be up and running from scoring every week by then, won't he?
Well, no, but we'll have the new Pele playing up front for us, so that should kind of see us through. I'm going to go for a draw. We're going to do draw.
We're going to do draw. Yeah, right, let's have a look at the last couple, right? So we've got Tottenham at home, Man United away. Give me your predictions in one hit for those two, because I'm getting bored with this.
Well, Tottenham at home, I'm going to go for a win. I really am, because I think that they're there for the taking, particularly if they continue with ball. Man United away, I'm going to take that as a loss, mate. You can't be winning
do that. Yeah, I'm going to do exactly the same as that. I honestly believe that's where it's going to go. I can't see any other. So let me know, people in the chat. Let me know Tottenham at home, Man United away. So I've got win and draw from Wayne. He gets it. Draw. See, that's very good. Win both, says Don. I think Randy's also going both. Oh no, there's no way we're drawing with Tottenham, are we? We're not drawing with Tottenham. Lost. Bill, what's happened to you? Where's your confidence? No,
I think we're going to beat.
I think we're going to beat Tottenham. I think he's going to have his
flying for. I can't even risk going too fast.
I know they can't defend. Right, so we've got that. We're going to go win.
Providing they don't have any of those. Right, so the only thing I will say though, With Spurs, just real quickly, because obviously they do have a bit of an injury situation in defence. So, providing, of course, some of those players don't come back by the time we play them, because that really is their major Achilles heel right now, is their defence. Yeah, but fuck it, I'm still going to go for a win. It's Spurs, yeah. We will beat them in their cup final, mate. We will beat them in their cup final.
Be under no illusions. Graham Potter knows how important that game is to us. Right. Last 2 games of the season. By this time, Nottingham Forest will be on the beach and down to about 7th place, I imagine, or they'll still be chasing Champions League. So one of the two will happen. And then Ipswich away on the last game of the season. Now, I'm saying we're beating Forest at home and beating Ipswich away. That is 6 points for me.
Oh, wow. Really?
Go on. That is what we're doing. That is what we're doing now. We're on to Nottingham Forest at home. At home, Chris, with probably a fully fit squad, including Fulkrug and what's his name, Evan Ferguson. We'll be flying by that point.
I love this optimism. I really love it, mate, because it's great that, with the positivity, and it's coming off a little bit. But I've got to tell you, I think against Forest, I don't think they're going to be on the beach at that point. I think they're going to be pushing as much as they can do to get that, because this is the biggest chance they're ever going to have of getting into the Champions League. So do you honestly think that this? I think they're going to lose that game. I honestly think they're going to lose that game. I think they're actually better than what we ever imagined. So I'm going to say that's going to be a loss. And Ipswich away. See, that's a funny old one, because
it's an easy place to win it.
But you're missing the point. If that's a game where potentially relegation is hinging on it, then you can't necessarily say that, because some teams come out battling, can't they? So you don't know that.
Last game of the season, it'd be over by then, wouldn't it? If it is, they need to win to stay up. Yeah, it's a different challenge. It's rarely that, is it?
All right. So I'm going to go with a loss against Forest and a draw against Ipswich. That's what I'm going to go with.
Well, I'm going to take an average and go loss against Forest, win against Ipswich, right? So if we add this up now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins, 21 points, and 22, 23, 24. So 24 points added to 27 puts us on 61, gets into Europe. You see, we're going to Europe. We're going to Europe, people.
No, it doesn't mean that.
No, it doesn't. It's 51 actually.
61. Yeah, I think we're near the Champions League. Is it 51? Yeah, 51. Okay, so 51.
We're not going Europe, people. Sorry.
Oh, bloody hell, mate! I just got my suitcase back. But I'll tell you what. I think we talk about our results, but the other ones around us as well, because there are some freak results this season. There really are. Some of the lesser teams beating some of the bigger teams, and so on and so forth. So I don't see us breaking into the top 8 at all. I genuinely believe that we're going to finish at best 11th this season, Gal. Best. I can't see it higher than that.
51 points will get us 10th. It'll get us 10th. There's no season where 50 points don't get you 10th.
Well, yeah, but going by those results, maybe. But I'm just saying, I just think I can't see us finishing higher than 11th. 10th, I think, would be a bloody great end to the season for us, bearing in mind how this season's gone under Lopetegui. So yeah.
Bear in mind, we've been pretty conservative with some of those results as well, right? We've been pretty conservative, right? So we're trying to end this show on an hour. We've got 15 minutes to go. We're going to go through this this next thing. So this is the squad for 2025-26 next season, right? So and I have a spreadsheet to share with you. And I just want to walk you through what my logic is, and then you can just tell us in the chat what you think about it. And Chris, you can tell me what you think about it as well. Right. So let me just do this. Share screen, window, and it will be this one. Share. Right. Okay. So this is the
I can't say that's very well small.
Is it? I'll make it bigger.
Yeah.
Better.
I don't know. I have to ask the chat, because I don't know what people are watching it on.
People in the chat must be able to see that. They must be able to see that. It's enormous. It's like 170% of its normal size. Is that all right, people in chat? Let's turn the overlay off, because that will make it better.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Let's go chat. Turn off the overlay. There you go. Better?
Yeah. I can see that.
So I don't know where we should be able to put us up at the side here. There we go. Let's do that. Right, let's just go through this. I mean, this is my logic. These ages, by the way, that's what they're going to be next season. Okay, so Lucas Paqueta, I mean, it's looking again. I don't want to tell you what I've heard because that's ridiculous. But let's just assume there's a very good chance that he don't come back, because there is a very good chance that he won't come back. We know that he's got a case. Anything can happen, right? He's on 7.8 million wages a year. We'd end up getting nothing for him if he did get banned. Mohamed could do so. I think if you're looking at him at the moment, you're probably looking at, you're not going to get 85 million for him, are you, in the form that he's in? If he finishes the season strong, 60 million, maybe a bit more. 90 grand a week. Mavropanos has got to go, in my opinion. We'll get 15 million off him, because even though he's not very good in the Premier League, when you look at his stats, aerially dominant, good ground duels and everything else, he'd actually be very good fit in Europe. If you look at his stats, he's actually not a bad player. Guido Rodriguez got to go. 3 million's optimistic, I think, don't you?
Yeah, I'll say that more, about 3 grand rather than 3 million.
Yeah, I agree. Fabianski, he'll be 40. He's got to go. He's got to go. I think he's. We need a young keeper who can. I want Areola personally to be the number 2 keeper. He's got a few years left on his contract. I think. Did you see that clip, Chris, of Carlos Soler running against Reece James the other night, where he got him booked? It was absolutely brilliant.
Mate, it was right in front of us. It was literally right in front of us. It was like the Gareth Bale reminiscent, reminiscent Gareth Bale when he ran around the outside, and he just, it was like suddenly this surge of pace came about him, didn't he? It was just unreal.
But someone took I don't know whether it was official footage or whatever, but I saw a clip of it earlier, and it looked really good seeing it on ground level. It looked brilliant. And I think 17 million, which is apparently how much he's going to cost, 20 million euros, is a steal for that player. I think he's a good quality player. There is a rumour that his wages are a little bit high. I don't think they're 350 grand a week, I've got to be honest. I mean, I think they're around about...
I don't think we're going to sign Carlos Soler, Gary.
Well, I just think if we don't, we'll get someone else. I'm just saying, I think he's fitting in quite well. He's not a bad player. I think... Antonio
next season as well. I didn't realise he was going to be that old.
Yeah. So maybe he'd be too old. Maybe he'd be considered too old. But he's doing a great job. I really like him. He seems to have got he knows what it takes to play for West Ham, doesn't he? Mikel Antonio, I've got my doubts whether he's ever going to be back playing Premier League football again, but I think he'll end up playing for somebody. Todibo, we've got an obligation, £27 million, I think, left. Vlad, I would keep him for a year, because we don't want an 18-man squad. We need backups. Nicholas Füllkrug, I think there's 3 years left on his contract. While he's still got value, you sell him, don't you?
Yeah, I don't think for that much, though. I think that's a little bit optimistic, bearing in mind he's 32 next season, £15 million for a player that's barely got any game time this season. His value's going to drop down to about 7, probably after that, mate, honestly. Let's
put the overlay up. Let's do this fair, because we're talking amongst ourselves. Let's just hold on a minute. What have I done? No. Yeah. Right. Let's do that. Stop screen sharing. Right. And re-screen share. Right. Okay. That's better. I was going to put the overlay up as well, so that we can not ignore people in the chat as they're talking about it. So I'm really interested to see your comments as we're talking about this, people. So, right. So Nicholas Füllkrug, I think we got him for 27 million euros, wasn't it?
Again, I mean, did we really pay that much money for him? I don't know, mate. I think that's a bit steep. I think there was probably a ton of add-ons with that 27 million. It just seems a little bit too pricey for me. But regardless, I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to that. I don't think we're going to get much more than 7 million back for him. I don't. No, wrong side of 30, injury prone. Barely played not even half a season for West Ham. How the hell can he be getting anywhere close to what we paid for him?
That is important, actually. The age. He'll be 32 next season. There's 3 years left on his contract. Bloody hell, it's a terrible deal, isn't it?
It was a bad deal, mate. Honestly, it really was. Such a bad deal. When you consider that fucking Liam Delap cost 25 million and he's 21. Yeah. I mean, what a bad deal that was. Right.
Danny Ings is going to get released, clearly. We're not going to get anything for him. His value's about £1 million, probably not even that. 6.5 million a year in wages. We've liked Danny Ings, but he was knackered when he came here. So he did what he could. Let's put it like that. Now, I think James Ward-Prowse has been brought back as cover for Carlos Soler, because he can do a high press. I don't know whether he's gonna get in the team ahead of, but I think it's sensible to bring him back and let him get a little bit of game time to show that he's still got some value, and then hopefully we can sell him with because we've got 2 years left on his contract, right? Now either we've got a liability 6 million a year for 2 years, or we can sell him for a fee. We paid 30 million. It's got to be worth 12, hasn't he?
Do you know? I don't know even know if we would sell him. Actually, it's a weird one because Potter's been saying some real positive things about him this week. I know maybe it's the spin of because we didn't sign any new players and we're kind of effectively kind of pushing it out there as if we have signed a new player and bringing James Ward-Prowse back. But you don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how he integrates with the squad if he's playing in the first team for the rest of the season. Because if he is, there's a chance that we may actually keep hold of him. I don't know. That one's completely 50-50 for me. I just don't know what Potter thinks of him. Maybe he's this type of player. Who knows?
So you reckon we're gonna not follow up on Soler, but we might keep Ward-Prowse instead.
Keeping Ward-Prowse is going to be cheaper than going and signing Carlos Soler, right? When you look at the actual salary and you look at the wage that Soler is going to demand, I would be quite surprised by that. I think that Potter will maybe looking at getting in a different type of midfielder rather than keeping on Soler, because we've been saying for months and months and months now about getting this box-to-box type of midfielder. Well, that's not Carlos Soler. So surely spending £17 million on him would be not a good use of money of that transfer kitty, unless the transfer kitty is bigger than what I imagine it would be. I don't see us signing him. I don't. I might be wrong. Who knows? I don't know. But my personal opinion.
Absolutely. Well, I think it'll be one or the other. I don't think it'll be both. That's what I'm saying. Naif Aguerd, he's got 2 years left on his deal. We've got to take the money. There is a risk that he comes back and it doesn't work, and he's in the last year of his deal. What he didn't settle last time. I think it's too much of a risk.
I want to keep him, mate. Honestly, I know what you're saying about this. And okay, so 2 years left on his deal, risk in terms of sell on value if we keep him from other season, all this, that, and the other. But the way that we play under Potter, I think will suit his style of his game as well, so much more than he did under Moyes, because the low block type of style of football, it's not conducive to making him perform at his optimum. But when he's got when he's higher up the pitch, and he's also got rapid pace. Don't ever forget the amount of pace that Naif Aguerd's got. Yeah. I mean, I'll never forget that challenge he did. I think it was on Callum Wilson, where he just come out of nowhere, and it was like watching a rocket flying down a pitch, and he just put in the most amazing challenge. I think, honestly, a higher line, that type of defence, that type of formation for him, that style of play will suit his game, and he could be a very good player for West Ham. I honestly believe that. If he played left side of a back three, he's got Kilman one side of him, I think he could be a good player for us again. I'd like to see us keep him and give him another chance. Because the thing is, who else is there out there? Who else is out there right now that we could sign that is going to be maybe better than Aguerd? And also, other teams are going to be in for that player as well. Aguerd, we can simply call back and say, listen, you're in our plans. And, I think we could still see the best of him yet,
Yeah, I mean, Jordan, I see what you're saying here, because you've probably got flashbacks to James Ward-Prowse playing as a central defensive midfielder in a double pivot alongside Souček, which was horrendous, and none of us want to see that ever again. It was terrible. But Potter ain't going to do that. He ain't going to do that. He's basically going to be there to press. He's quite good at pressing from the front. He's not going to be sitting as a... See, this is what I heard, what Jones said here, that he actually hated his time at West Ham and would be very reluctant to come back.
Yeah, but that was because of Moyes, though. That was because of Moyes.
Well, how'd you know that?
Because it was well
he might have been angry at the club for hanging him out to dry, right?
Well, did we? Or was it Moyes that was hanging him out to dry?
Well,
because from recollection, he had bust-ups after bust-ups of Moyes. I don't think it's necessary. Why would he hate West Ham? I mean, why would he actually hate West Ham as a club?
I like to think it ain't the club, and it's it could be, the way he was basically handed out by Moyes. That's what happened in the end, wasn't it? Really. But yeah, I think you got to. Yeah. Okay. That's clear. Yeah, we're trying to keep it to an hour, Claire. Don't worry. We're on 54 minutes. We won't be long. We need to have a second squad.
That was me, by the way, Gal.
Oh, was it you?
Yeah.
We also need to have a second squad. Oh, he's being sarcastic. I can't multitask. The second squad like Liverpool do. We need 2 players in each position, especially if next season we're looking at cup games in Europe. Yeah. Well, look, I don't think we're going to be looking at Europe, but we will be looking at cup games. And I hope we take the cups. I hope we've got enough players to be able to take the cup games seriously next season for a start. But again, I'm not gonna. There's no way I'm gonna sort of in any way think back and let the Moyes ball approach of JWP and Souček. They ain't going to terrify me. I mean, it kept me awake at night enough. I don't want to think about it again. It's never going to happen. Is it?
No,
It's
no, no.
never going to happen. That
But
will
when you
never
need to
get
look back
played.
on that, it was awful. It was awful having them two playing that double pivot. But here you go. Look what Eamon Green is saying here. Good, hated Moyes' style of play. He hated he had to defend for 90 minutes. That's what he said in the press. That's what I remember him saying as well. So I do think that is the case. And just to add to that, thank you very much from Raymond. Aguerd could come back. Might be, okay, so it might be other club. There was someone else who was saying something nice about Aguerd as well. I've lost it.
Right.
But regardless, I think he would be good.
Well, I think we're all agreed then, aren't we? We're all agreed that what we'll actually bring in in terms of sales, if you take all of these players that we'll be selling, and we have to spend. I think it's not 27 million. I think it's 12 something we have to spend this year on him. Then
it's over 3 years.
Yeah, it gives us a positive balance of 80 million. Now there must be some money to come out of the this year's Premier League money. There must be, and there must be. We've obviously got the loan facilities. To be honest, I'm not going to claim to be an accountant and know how this all works out, but I think probably I was looking at it earlier, and you probably have about 120 million to spend and need about 5 or 6 players. And I think if I change this around. We've changed this round because we've got. Have I got him on here? No, Ward-Prowse. I haven't got him on here. So let's go Ward-Prowse. James Ward-Prowse. I didn't expect to be adding Ward-Prowse in there, but I'll happily do it. I think we still need we're missing that piece in midfield. I mean, I know we're getting Potsy back, right? We're getting Potsy back. Let's erase Soler. And he will definitely be able to play as a central defensive midfielder, either in a 2 with Alvarez or on his own even when needed. Souček can play a defensive role as well. So can Irvin. I think we've got more than enough cover in that respect, but we do need that sort of dynamic midfielder, the person that sets the tempo, the box-to-box player, don't we?
Exactly.
And that's what we need. That's why I'm saying +1 there. I think we'll need cover in defence. We'll need at least 1 centre-half. If we get rid of Mavropanos, and also now even maybe Emerson, right? If you do that, we might need more than 1, right? But then maybe you give Cress another season. That's what I've done here. Maybe you do that, right? Because it's not very many. It's not very many players, is it? When you work it out like this.
No, it's not.
If you take Palmieri, you take him out of there as well. I mean, what have we got with JWP? You've got 21 players. You take Emerson out, that's only 20. And what's the size of a Premier League squad? Is it 24 or 26? You're allowed to have. Sorry, I can't remember. But we're
25, but maybe I'm completely wrong.
25.
I don't know. I might be wrong there. I'm not sure. But regardless, we clearly won't have enough players. I don't see us keeping on Cresswell for another season, mate. I can't see that one happening. I think this will be it for him.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. So, but the thing is, if you do this, if you take Cresswell out, then you're basically saying you need to add another defender as well. Now, I know they're not going to all be expensive signings, right? But we need 2 strikers. We need 1 primary and 1 secondary striker. We can't just get away with 1 striker and hope and pray they stay fit all season, can we?
Yeah. No, of course we can't.
Unless Bowen's a backup striker, of course. Unless Bowen's a backup striker, that might work. Yeah. We need a keeper. We need a keeper, a sweeper keeper, someone that can use their feet intelligently.
Well, they're hard to come by, though, aren't they? They are very, very hard to come by. So I don't know.
Well, they are, but
is that going to be a priority for us, or would you say that maybe in other positions, i.e., central midfield, where we need to be shelling out the money up front, where we need to be spending money, would be much more of a priority than signing a goalkeeper? Don't get me wrong, I do think that we need one. As I said before, so many times we need a spine, we need a goalkeeper, a centre back, a central box-to-box midfielder, and we need a striker. So we need 4 key players to invest in the summer. But are we going to be able to get all 4 of those? It's debatable, isn't it? It really is. Certainly players that are going to come straight into the first team, not just like, okay, yeah, he plays centre back, I'm talking about go straight into the first team. 4 players to go straight in the first team. That's tough, mate. That is tough.
You're not going to need that, though. You're not going to need that, because if you look at this, you've got Areola potentially as the number 1. You've got your two out of the 3. Maybe you've got, in addition to this, you've got Aguerd as well. So you've got actually your back 3 for the whole season made up already. right? And then you've got Casey to back up and one other, right? You might, you know, because you need 4, maybe 5, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm going on the provision that potentially, say Aguerd doesn't come back. Let's say people are right and he doesn't want to come back to West Ham and he wants to stay in La Liga, whatever it is. Then we've only got
Yeah.
2. We've got Todibo and Kilman. Todibow's proven to be a little bit injury prone. So really, we do need a centre back, in my opinion, because I don't think Casey's quite ready yet. So I think we still do need a centre. I'm not saying it's the priority position for us. The priority position for me will always be central midfield and up front. Those are the 2 key ones for me. But if you're going to be looking at really trying to bolster that squad and make it strong for next season, I do think you need another goalkeeper. I think you need another centre back, midfielder, and a striker. Honestly, that's what I feel anyway.
Right. So if we do this, make it simple: 5 players, a keeper, a centre half, and a fullback stroke wing back to cover over the other side. Maybe one that can cover both sides, or maybe, like you said, AWB can cover both sides as the backup.
No.
Midfield, we need the box to box player, the energetic, the engine room, and then we need the striker up front. So 5 players probably.
Yeah.
And maybe 120 million to spend on 5 players, but also don't forget that you're saving 52 million on the wage bill by getting rid of these players. And if you work it out, probably if you go 5 players on 100 grand a week, it's around about 26 million or something. So you probably got another 20 odd million on there. That's how I managed to arrive at 120 million ish, right? So yeah, it looks reasonable. It doesn't look as scary
for that 120 million as well. Then basically, yeah, just not transfer.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm not including the wages. That's that's separate to the wages. And also, don't forget, it's not our maths work. When you're talking about fees, you know, if you buy 250 million pound players, you're not spending 100 million. You're spending 100 million over the next 3 or 4 years or whatever their contract is, right? And that's the same for, you know, when people buy players off you. So I think sometimes the numbers, the way they give out the numbers, is a little bit disingenuous because they're committing to payments they're going to be making 2 or 3 years down the line, debts that are on the balance sheet. Well, that's normal for every single club, and as long as you stay inside of the rules on fair play, that's fine, isn't it?
Yeah. True. Yeah, it's true.
So as long as they do that, that's fine. I think we're going to be making good use of that loan facility with Barclays Bank again this season. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't really seem as horrendous as it first did. If we bring back Aguerd, if we keep JWP, if he does an okay job, a lot depends on these kids and whether they're good enough. Is Guilherme, the superstar behind me, going to turn out to be a superstar? Is Alford going to mature like a fine wine? Is Earthy going to come back and do the business? That's a risky one, right? I'm pretty sure that Potts will. I'm pretty sure that Skulls is already a first team quality. And again, Casey, who knows? So Casey and Earthy, I feel quite strongly about Alford. I think he's fine. Casey and Earthy are the ones that got to prove themselves together with Guilherme. So there's 3 there. One of those goes wrong, you need another player, don't you?
Yeah, well, Alford's got to prove it as well, Gal. I mean...
Oh, no, very much so. But I can only go on what I've seen already. And he's had a few late performances in difficult games, and he's been calm and wanted the ball, and I quite like the way he pressed the other night as well. Quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, for me, like this is the prime opportunity for them to prove it anyway, Gal. You know, the rest of this season, I don't really care if we don't get into Europe, because we're not going to be equipped for it going into next summer if we did anyway. So I don't think that's going to happen. But if we can just start introducing some of these youngsters, give them more playing time, that for me would be a real win. And I'd be really looking forward to going to games just to see some of these youngsters play. I think every West Ham fan would be. You know what we're like, and you see one of our own coming on the pitch. You know, it gives us such a lift.
Yeah. This is a true point from Darren. Yeah, don't forget we've got loans as well. Yeah, absolutely. And but we tend to use those in January.
Oh yeah. We love a loan, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, Cresswell and Antonio will be gone. I think the thing that convinced me there is looking at Cresswell's age. He'll be 35. I think Antonio, I don't think he's playing Premier League again, not after an accident like that.
No.
It'd be a bloody... Well, for a start, we'd have to give him another year's contract. And I don't think you'd do that. Sorry. I've given up smoking today for the umpteenth time, and I'm losing my voice. Let's have a little drop of Monster. There you go. My voice is back again. I told you, it's good for you. Monster's good for you. It brings your voice back. Right.
I've got a self-imposed ban on Monster now. I don't want it. I don't want it
dare
anymore.
you.
I don't want it in my life anymore.
Antonio needs a slower car. Yeah, I said this at the time. He needs a Volvo estate or something. He definitely does. He definitely does. Guillermo, James Lee says, will prove himself with more time. Chelsea didn't know what to do with him last week. He came, no, they didn't, because honestly, when you're tired, do you really want pain in the arse like that running at you at that pace? Of course you don't.
Give him a full game then. Give him a full game. I don't want to just see him coming
He's
off
not
for
going to
5
get
minutes.
a full game yet, is
I
he?
know,
He might
but why
he might
can't
get
he
a bit more
Gary?
time because of Somerville. He might get a bit more playing time now.
That's what I'm saying. So why
Yeah.
can't he? Because look, Kudus, okay, I know he doesn't like playing on the left and that's not his favoured position, but if you've got Kudus on the left and you've got Bowen up front because we've got a lack of striking options and Ferguson's still not getting into the team straight away perhaps, then stick him on the right, give him a run.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Give him a bloody run. Brentford could be a good game to give him that opportunity.
Yeah.
Rather than 5 minutes against Cucurella. Do you know what I mean? 5 minutes
Yeah.
against Cucurella in the last phase of the game. Of course, he's going to be blown out of his arse. So it's going to be, it's always a good opportunity to attack a fullback in the last 5-10 minutes of the game. I want to see him start a game. I'd love to see that.
So would I. So would I. And I don't think he'll hesitate to start him. If he thinks he's good enough, he'll start him, right? But Gary and Chris would likes to sign Hoyland. I mean, I really like Hoyland, and I think he's going to be surplus at Man U. I don't think he's really been used properly at Man U, I've got to be honest. And when he arrived, he was like the next big thing, like every striker that arrives at Man U.
He looks all right. I like the look of him. I must admit, Darren. I think he's young. He looks like I think he's a good striker. I mean, certainly you look at him and you compare him to the other Man United striker, was Xerxes. He's a million times better. But there was this again. We've not spoken about rumours. There's loads more rumours coming out at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to
because it's going to change.
Too many of them
between now and the summer. It's going to change, mate. So Hoyland, it's going to be someone else by then, and all the other ones that have been linked with. I'll take it with a pinch of salt. Honestly, I really would.
I guess I'd give my head a wobble and change my mind.
What's that about?
That's Gazza, as in the other Gazza, I think. Yeah. I actually like Hoyland. I know many people don't agree. Yeah, I like him. But I think, like Chris said, it's just a see, for every positive, you get a negative, right? No matter who you sign.
You can't please everyone, mate. That's life, isn't it?
It's subjective. People see a game, they like the look of a player. Someone looks at the same game, they don't like the look of a player. It is what it is. It's human nature, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think all in all, I don't think, in summary, I don't think it's such a huge rebuilding job as long as we do some really cute trading and get some decent deals. It's like that geezer who plays for Lille, the midfielder with the English midfielder.
Angel Gomez.
Yes. If we could do a deal for him where we're not paying a fee, it's just a sign-on fee. For instance, that is like AWP style business. That's a good quality player for no money, right? So if we do stuff
that would be a great signing. That would be a great signing. And I know there's a lot of noise to suggest that perhaps it is happening. If it does, great. I know you say it's not a big rebuild job, but I kind of feel like it is a little bit still, Gal, because we don't have a striker. Ferguson is not our player, and even if he does do well at the end of the season, it's highly unlikely we're going to sign him because he'll be too expensive by that point, or he'll just be injury prone and we won't want him. So I think the striker is imperative, and that is going to cost us a lot of money. We can't be taking a gamble on a striker now, Gal. I mean, I know I suppose all signings are a gamble to some extent, but I just want to I want to see us sign a striker that we know has a good, clean bill of health, that we know can start games. Has got plenty of his career in front of him. So that's what I really would like to see. Don't we asking for too much? I mean, why are we always signing players that are just at the the tail end of their career? I mean, it's just, come on, for goodness sake. And it's always the striker. Always a striker in it. We've signed good centre halves, we've signed good midfielders, but it's always the striker. Yeah. That's the key position. That and midfield, mate. Get those two right, we could be talking about a very different team next season. Could be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. So look, I think that's us done. The only thing is, I was listening to Potter today talk about McCauley. Yeah, he's been with him his whole management career, all the way back to the fourth tier of Swedish football, right? He's very much 4 sheds. I've got 1, 2.
There's a debate going on by how many sheds you've got.
It's either you could call it 4. You could call it 4, but it's I've got outside the house. I've got one like brick built shed, which is in 2, so that could count as 2. And then I've got another big shed, so that could be 3, and then this one could be 4. Or if you look at the way it's partitioned, it could be 5. So I'm not going to give you a firm answer there. It's like subjective. It's subjective. So yeah, I've got many sheds. Let's just put it like that. I've got many sheds. That's
A man of many sheds.
Yeah. Right. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to pull out this thing. I just want to share with you something from the other night. And again, this is not meant in a attacking these sort of supporters, attacking tourists, because tourists have got a right to go to football. If they buy a ticket, they've got a right to be there. I just thought it was a bit of a strange situation to see in a sold out West Ham end, a queue of 10 very young Chinese kids in similar coats walking through, one after the other. I don't know what happened there and how that group of quite a large group. Well, did you see him, Chris? Quite a large group of
Fred said it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just oblivious to it. I was when we walked through, into the concourse. There was something was kicking off, weren't it, at Chelsea? I don't know what was going on there.
Oh no, there's nothing to do with that. These were very peaceful, but they clearly had a teacher at one end, a teacher at the other, and there was about 10 kids in the middle, all dressed in similar coats. I don't know what happened
it's
there.
Like some special day out or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Or something like that. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing though. Talking to Chelsea, because it kind of made me laugh a little, because obviously it did the vlog on Monday. And there was a few Chelsea fans piping up saying, "Oh, you don't need a West Ham." Yeah, but I'll tell you what. I mean, I've been to a lot of away games, and their fans are up there with the worst.
Terrible, wasn't it?
I mean,
Terrible.
They were awful. They were so bad. I couldn't. I mean, it was almost like there weren't anyone there until they scored. And I know that happens with a lot of teams, but honestly, it was like sheer silence. I mean, I was looking across, because in the first half, I was sitting right next to the away fans with Fred, and then we moved to near where you were. And I'm looking over, and they're just like literally sitting there as if they're watching some kind of business conference. That's what it felt like. Do you know what I mean? Really poor, man. Like really, really poor. It was so soulless. It was mate. I know, right? And I put it out there because I know that our atmosphere is awful at the London Stadium. You get kind of sections where sometimes it goes off a little bit, then it dies down. But we know what it's like. It's pretty soulless at London Stadium. We can't hide from that. But I'm sorry, Stamford Bridge. Like, if we had that ground. Not that we want it, by the way, but if we had that ground, you can guarantee the atmosphere would be absolutely bubbling, mate. It would be nothing like they have it. And that is embarrassing, to be honest with you, because...
Oh, it is,
do you know what I mean? It's embarrassing. So Chelsea fans can go and do one, as far as I'm concerned. And anyone's doing your West Ham fans, I'll tell you what, we didn't have any Chelsea fans throughout the whole 90-odd minutes of the game. Not a peep.
You didn't.
Nothing.
But if we had that ground, you'd have to knock it down and build it up in Claret Blue, as the song goes.
You would, absolutely.
You'd have to do that. Look... I just don't, my point was about this group of 10 or so Chinese kids.
Sorry, mate. Yeah.
The fact is, you could have sold that away end out so many times. How the bloody hell have tourists got tickets in there when they run a ballot for home fans? For people who have got season tickets and whatever else, got so many points. How has that happened? Not right. Not right, in my opinion. Home games I can just about tolerate, even though there are too many of them. And when you looked in the Chelsea end, there is a reason why they're quiet, and that is they were at least half tourists and half the kind of crowd you get at Fulham. The middle class, upper middle class families are out for jolly night out, jolly day out, just to watch the football. They don't get it. They don't get it. It's just not. It's not their thing. But I'm sure,
game, man. They just won a game, and there's no atmosphere. I mean, what the hell? Really? Madness. And for Chelsea fans to turn around and say to me that, we've done you over. And no, you didn't. Do you know? No, you didn't at all. We played
what
really
game
well.
Were they watching?
I know,
what game
exactly.
Were they listening to? Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show. They must have been sleeping in the stadium. That would probably, I guess justify the reasons why they were so quiet, because must have been watching something totally different from what we were. That's for sure.
Well, they had 2 shots to go in the first half that went quite close, right? And I counted that was the 2 times they stood up in the first half.
I didn't even see him stand up, mate. Didn't even see him stand up.
No, they when they get up and sit down again, that's exactly what they did.
You sure they weren't going for a toilet break or something? Because I didn't see that.
Maybe they were. But anyway, look, let's leave it there. But let's use Kenny Lens Tourist, the one that you made about tourists. Very, very nice. All right, and thank you everybody for joining us. Thanks for all your messages in the chat. Only another week to go till the football's back. Have a lovely rest of the weekend. Enjoy your Sunday, and see you soon. Come in your minds. Let's find the bloody video. There you go.
Hey Goldie, what's on today's to-do list?
Why, it's match day, Dave.
Are you hoping for a full house tonight?
Not too fast. As long as we sell all the tickets, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care if you come down here.
Make more money from the tourists here, so I don't care if you come down here.
Nathan Villavic's got a boy for the night. His ex-missus said you better try to get it right. Buys a kid a ticket and a burger and a Sprite. Got a train home, 200 Nicolai.
Cause I don't care, I don't care, I don't care if you come down here. Cause you make more money for the tourists here, so I don't give a monkeys if you come down here.
Stop from where the pocket took a bully in the water. Never lost a rumble but he can't get sore. Climbs more stairs than he did before. What's his old seat, then he's got to pay more.
Cause I don't care, I don't care, I don't care if you come down here. Cause you make more money for the tourists here, so I don't give a monkeys if you come down here.
He caviar and goes to football with his wife. He did it as a kid and he's done it all his life. But he don't get a winter fuel allowance anymore. So he's gonna sell his ticket to a bloke for Singapore.
I don't care, I don't care, I don't care if you come down here. Cause you make more money for the tourists here, but we don't give a monkeys if you're here next year. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care if you come down here. Cause you make more money for the tourists here, and I don't care if